Welcome back. Edo Politics is in focus in this second part of the program, and that is because of what has developed the last few days in very quick succession. Complaint to the House of Assembly by the governor. The House of Assembly acts by suspending the chairman of the local government, 18 of them, who are all members of the PDP, from my understanding, for the next 2 months. And they are relying on Section 20 of the Local Government Law 2000 of Edo State. Now, is that law in conflict with the 1999 Constitution? What happens to the touting of the issue of local government autonomy? Should the Assembly be the one doing this? Well, Andrew Nwata is a former commissioner for communication and orientation in Edo State under the Obaseki administration, but now is an ally of the governor. He joins me from Benin City, the Edo State capital. Mr. Nwata, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, good evening, Jeffrey. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'm going to be asking you questions around the law and politics because you wear both shoes. So help us understand. There was a lot of celebration at the national level as to local government autonomy, and then we're seeing this. But first, let's walk back. What is the reason for the governor, besides what we know, saying that these gentlemen who are managing the local government should open their books? Does the governor have that authority? Maybe you, as a lawyer, walk us through that first of all.
Yeah, thank you. We operate a constitutional democracy in Nigeria, and the actions of the governor were guided, as it were, by the provisions of Section 7, the second part of Section 7 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, as amended. Of course, the first part says that a system of democratically elected councils is under this constitution guaranteed. And the second part says that the government of the state, through its House of Assembly, shall ensure the existence of local government and shall provide, make a law that provides for its establishment, structure, finance, and composition. It was pursuant to that provisions of the 1999 Constitution that in 2000, the Edo State House of Assembly enacted the Edo State Local Government Law. Section 20 of that law, sub B, allows a governor in consultation with the House of Assembly to suspend an area local government chairman for 2 months, for a period not exceeding 2 months. And in place of that suspended chairman, in the case of a suspension of the chairman and his vice, the leader of the House, the elected leader of the Legislative House, becomes the acting chairman for that 2-month period, during which the governor is mandated by sub C of Section 20 of that law to set up an inquiry. And the governor of Edo State followed these procedures as stipulated by the law of the Edo State House of Assembly, for which Section 7 empowered the House of Assembly to make. As we speak, that remains the law of Edo State House of Assembly, the local government law, and we expect that within a period of 2 months, the inquiry, which I'm a member of, will submit our report to the governor, and the governor in turn will lay it before the House of Assembly. And the law says further actions will be taken based on the report that has been submitted. So if you ask me, the governor has acted in accordance with the law because this local government chairman defied a simple request for them to explain the state of their affairs. We have a system similar to that we have in America because our own democracy is modeled on the American system, whereby the state supervises the activities of local government councils. The drafters of our constitution had it in mind when they made those specific provisions. They saw a local government as a corporation for which the state can pass laws, which we have done. I don't think any state in Nigeria has a law establishing it other than the Constitution. So that under a federal system, the duty of supervising local government is purely the affairs of state.
So it's difficult, Mr. Nwata, if I may come in on this particular one, it's difficult for lay people like us to comprehend this issue around the law. On one hand, what is going on is a state assembly, the governor through the state assembly oversighting the local government, when the local government itself has a legislative assembly. Shouldn't he have passed through the local government legislative assembly to take any action he wants to take? Because we're talking about local government autonomy here.
I just wanted to establish the fact that our own system of democracy is modeled on the American system. Under the American system, the governor of New York can suspend the mayor. But what we must establish is there's a big difference between dissolving the council and suspending an erring chairman. What has happened here is not a case of dissolution. Even under the same law I've referred to, recently, the Chief Judge of Edo State, applying the blue pencil rule, abrogated the provision of Section 10 that talks about dissolution. The governor has not dissolved the councils because the person now occupying the office of acting local government chairman across the 18 local governments was elected. So what we have, the provision of the law being followed strictly.
Mr. Nwata, I also respond to what you said like a layman as well. This is because they say there are 3 arms of government and 3 tiers of government, which has to do with local government. Like president oversighting the role of a governor. That is the way it looks to lay people, given to what is playing out. But let me ask you a straight question on this one. If these chairmen were members of the APC, would Governor Okpebholo have done what he did?
It does not really matter because the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, who looked at the governor's request, is a PDP member. So it's about our state. What is the mischief here? We had a system where we didn't have local government councils for over 2 years. And when they came in September last year, it was business as usual. As we speak, there's no development in our councils. It was just a money sharing spree. And that is why they are trying to prevent an inquiry because, as I've noted earlier, our system does not allow local government to operate like states. It is the House of Assembly that guarantees their existence through a law. They're under the direct supervision of the state government. And if you allow me, I will say that what the Supreme Court said in the case of AG Federation and AG Abia is simple, that allow local governments to have access to their funds. The Supreme Court cannot amend the Constitution. Section 7 remains. And also that you cannot dissolve a council and appoint a caretaker committee, which is not the case here. We are talking of every local government chairman and their vice who have refused the state to supervise their affairs because the governor was elected by Edo people and he has a duty to Edo people. What happens at the local government concerns the governor.
So, Mr. Nwata, what is now the role of the legislative assembly of the local government? What is their role?
They have a similar role. They have a role to remove outrightly. Unlike in this case, it's a case of suspension, 2 months. And as we speak, there's an inquiry. So it is at the end of that inquiry, the House of Assembly will take any further step. And that is the law. Until this law is abrogated, it remains the law.
Well, so what is the worst case and the best case scenario here? Because this looks like a political move from onlookers. Go through the assembly, follow the local government council law, section 20 that we've been putting out, suspend them, and if push comes to shove, you use the legislative assembly and kick them out of office. Is that the end game here?
You know, because it's an inquiry, you don't expect me to start divulging matters that are before a panel of inquiry, but just to say that there are clear precedents. Obaseki as governor in 2019 did the same. 4 local government chairmen were suspended. The matter went to the House of Assembly. But the first and foremost thing you should consider is it legal? The answer is yes. So the issue of whether it is political is a matter of conjecture.
So I want you to speak back to when the Attorney General of the Federation actually took the state governors to court and he won that case and said these monies should be sent directly to the local government to manage the affairs of the local government. I know that some local government earn as much as 900 million, some 200 million, some 300 million, depending on the state and where they are located. The idea, in my understanding, and from the understanding of perhaps a lot of people, is the fact that the state government will allow these people operate freely. But what is going on? Do you see this as freedom of expression or freedom of operation by the local government? Because Governor Okpebholo is barely, I think it's less than 2 months in office. These gentlemen, I think they are less than a year in office. It was the end of Obaseki's term that they came into office.
I'm coming. I think it's clear that what the Supreme Court has done is to allow local government to have direct access to their funds. But it does not allow individuals to now operate in manners that the law does not allow them to. Because the issue of financial autonomy is what the Supreme Court talked about. It does not talk about the issue of fiscal responsibility, of misappropriating funds or using the local government as a conduit for personal aggrandizement. And that is what the governor is against. The governor is not interested in how much the local government gets from the federation account. It is how these monies are spent. And if you look at the provisions of Section 7, the law allows the state to look into the finances of the local government, not the issue of where the money goes to, but how the money is spent. So I don't think there's I don't think there's anything untoward here, but because the Constitution has placed local government under state control, that remains the law. It is not for the National Assembly to now give local government almost the same powers as the state by granting them full political independence. Financial autonomy, to my understanding, is allowing people to have access to their money. But that is not to say how they use their money, you don't have control. I'll give you a simple scenario. A judge can instruct a father, you must give your son 20,000 naira every month, pay into his account, but that does not take away the illocal parentis role of the father to supervise how the son acts. That does not mean that the son can use that money to get marijuana and other things that are antisocial. So that is the role of the state. They play an illocal parentis role over local government, and that's what Governor Okpebholo and the Edo State House.
These are democratically elected council chairmen. They are not. It's not a father-son relationship. These are governments, local government, state government. I want to emphasize that word.
No, I think you said you're a layman. I'm trying to break it down in the simplest way I can.
So I'm responding as well. So what has been found preliminary? What is this thing that the governor found that made him to say, guys, I need to see what you're doing with the money?
I want to ask you a question. You have people who have been elected for over 1 year, and there's little to show for what they have done in the past 1 year. If it is a government, right? Nothing to show. You have appropriations, but nothing physical or tangible to show. And we're not asking for your finances, and you're saying you will not provide. They are not an independent organ of government, a tier of government. They are under the control of the state. It has always been.
I want to go back, Mr. Nwata, and we're going to bring this issue up. Just the Constitution says the system of local government, because the language you're using is interesting. The system, I want to read exactly what the Constitution says. The system of local government by democratically elected local government councils is under this Constitution guaranteed. And then he now went on to say, and accordingly, now gives the state government some responsibility. Every state shall, subject to Section 8 of this Constitution, ensure their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance, and function of the council. So the Constitution guarantees that they exist, but facilitated by the state. So what is going on for those people who see this as a political or administrative overreach? What's your response?
My response is simple. The person who is currently in charge of my local government was democratically elected, meeting the letters and spirits of Section 7, because the council itself is not just the chairman, but you have elected councillors. These councillors are intact, their tenure is intact, but for the suspended chairman who is trying to prevent the state from ensuring that the funds are properly spent, is under an inquiry. And the idea behind suspension is not just about the local government councils. Even in the university system, when a VC or whoever it is that heads an institution is under inquiry, he's suspended, he's told to step aside to allow that inquiry to happen. And that's exactly what the drafters of our Constitution contemplated and the drafters of the Edo State local government law. 2 months is not forever. So it's better we don't preempt the work of the inquiry.
Yeah, no one is preempting the work of the inquiry, just that
government areas concerned.
No, land on your thought. I didn't get what you said.
No, I said the point is this. The 2 months period is not ad infinitum, right? The chairmen have been suspended and their vice chairmen, they have not been removed. The councils have not been dissolved. And again, the most important question to ask is, does the governor and the House of Assembly act of suspension in tandem with the law? The answer is yes. It's in tandem with the provisions of Section 7 of the Constitution, and is also in tandem with the provisions of Section 20 that allows for an inquiry of a 2-month period within which that person involved, whether chairman or vice, can't be suspended.
So has the EFCC been involved in all of this?
I was informed just this morning that these persons have been invited by the EFCC.
Okay. So, again, just as we begin to wind down, let's talk about you said the Speaker of the House is a member of the PDP, and the governor just came into power. And this energy we're seeing with their quote-unquote oversight on the local government, what is the guarantee? Because there are also concerns about much money being sent to the state governments, and sometimes we don't see what they really do with this money, which is actually the role of the State Assembly to oversight and see what the state government is doing with this money. How efficient and effective do we expect to see the State Assembly effectively check the activities of the state government, just like they are checking that of the local government?
We expect that because we have majority PDP members in the House of Assembly, and the governor's party is a minority in the House of Assembly, and the governor just presented his budget, and of course the House will perform oversight. The governor hit the ground running. For the very first time, we're having a flyover in Benin City, and he has promised 3. Edo State is more or less a construction site. Across board, the governor is ensuring that he brings development to every nook and corner of Edo State. And I expect the journalists, as the fourth estate of the realm, to hold us to account on every promise we have made to Edo, because Edo people deserve the best. And my boss, the governor of Edo State, Senator Okpebholo, offers a better deal through his 5-point agenda of security, affordable health care, value-driven education, good road infrastructure, and water and food sufficiency. And has hit the ground.
Mr. Wata, we're going to come to all of that maybe in another conversation altogether.
We'll proceed in the days ahead.
Because of time.
Various committees of the House will now have to scrutinize the budget, which of course is 605 billion. Cutting across the various...
Mr. Wata, we're totally out of time. I wouldn't want to stop you, but we're totally out of time. My sincere apologies. We're totally out of time. But we must thank you, Mr. Andrew Nwata. Is a former commissioner in Edo State and now working with the committee that has been set up to investigate the suspension of all these local government chairmen.
Thanks for having me.
In Edo State. Thank you so much. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. Good night and God bless.